Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the 9 a.m. club. My name is Veronica Valley. I am a former clinical psychotherapist, sober coach, and EFT practitioner. I'm the creator of the Soberful program, and I am going to show up every morning here at 9 a.m. Eastern, which in the UK is 2 p.m. now that the clocks have gone forward. To offer support for your sobriety and for your mental health. I realized this is going into our third week of lockdown. I realized that for me personally, I needed to take care of my mental health in a 24-hour period. I needed to have a reason to get up and get dressed and get showered and get everybody organized and be in front of you at 9 a.m. to support you. So I'm doing this for me, and I hope you find this helpful. We are going to be doing some emotional freedom technique. It's called tapping EFT. It's a way of releasing some of the stress and anxiety from your body. It's a way of just calming our central nervous system. And I'm going to show you how to do that shortly. Can you let me know in the comments where you are listening from, what your name is, and tell me what you're struggling with right now, because we can do some tapping on that. Also, just to let you know, the internet is really glitchy. I've already had calls drop, and so if this drops, I will try and get back online, but I'm noticing glitches, which is not surprising if you think how many people in the world right now are online. The usage of a lot of these different platforms has really grown. So I am noticing some glitches in some of the programs that I use. So, good to see Debbie and Annie. And I'm just checking here on Instagram. Hello. Grief, heartbreak, and despair. Yeah, I know who that is, my love. Grief, heartbreak, and despair. Okay, so this is what we're going to do first. We are going to just do some tapping and breathing, and you are just going to copy me and just repeat what I do. So I'm going to show you where to tap. We're going to tap on the side of the hand like this. Either side doesn't matter. Then we're going to tap on top of the head. And then the beginning of the eyebrow on the eye socket. End of the eyebrow on the eye socket. Underneath the eye on the eye socket. Between the nose and the top lip. And between the bottom lip and chin and that little dent there. Right here on the chest. And underneath where your bra strap is. If you're a woman, if you're a man, just imagine where that would be. Take a deep breath. And pay attention to how you're feeling right now. Notice what EFT is. It connects how we're thinking to the emotions that we feel in our body. So we are going to pay attention to how that shows up, how emotions feel in our body. Okay, so let's do a round of tapping on grief, heartbreak, and despair. I know I have one of my Soberful Life members has suffered a loss of a loved one, and I want to do some tapping on that. So the grief process, I just want to say something very quickly about the grief process, because we are all in a grief process right now. We are grieving the change, the how different our lives are, whether it will go back to normal, all of that kind of stuff. So we go through stages with the grief process. We go through bargaining and denial and anger and sadness and sometimes fear until we get to acceptance, and we can't avoid any of those processes. And grief is about being alive. Grief is about validating and honoring the person that we loved, or the circumstances that we loved that have ended, or our lives how they were. It's a necessary human process. So don't try and avoid it. Support yourself through it. So copy me and repeat what I say. Even though I am experiencing this grief, heartbreak, and despair, and it's consuming me right now. It's all I can think and feel about. Right here and now, I am safe and loved. Even though I am experiencing this grief, heartbreak, and despair, and it's consuming me, and it's all I can think of right now. Right here and now, I'm safe and loved. Even though I'm experiencing this grief, heartbreak, and despair, and it's consuming me right now, and it's all I can think about. Right here and now, I'm safe and loved. Top of the head, grief, heartbreak, despair, grief, heartbreak, despair, grief, heartbreak. Take a deep breath. Pay attention to how you feel in your body. So a couple of people are saying problem is that at the moment is boredom eating. Someone else is saying their husband is driving them crazy and they need space and they feel like he's smothering me. Boundaries are, we just because we're in this socially distancing and we're at home with our families 24/7, we can still have boundaries. We can still talk about what we need. Boundaries is about talking about what we need and repeating. Be prepared to repeat. So, Alison, I'm going to encourage you to look at having some boundaries and some time where you go out on your own, or you have some space in the bedroom on your own, or whatever. It's really, really important. Okay, check in, everybody. How are you doing? Let's do some tapping on the boredom eating. Even though this feels like it's going on forever, and I am bored and eating too much, and that makes me feel crappy, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though this feels like it's going on forever, and I'm bored, and I'm eating too much, and that makes me feel crappy, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though this feels like it's going on forever, and I'm eating too much, and I feel crappy, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Top of the head, bored, eating too much, bored, eating too much, bored, eating too much, bored, eating too much. Take a deep breath. Pay attention to how that feels in your body and let me know. Have you noticed any changes? Has anything shifted? The great thing about EFT is borrowed benefits. We can be tapping on someone else's issue. Your brain will access your own stuff and you will feel a benefit from the tapping. So I have a reading for us today. It's from one of my favorite writers, Emmett Fox, The Power Through Constructive Thinking. This is quite an old book. It goes back to about 1932, so it's almost 100 years old, not quite. For those of you who are interested, when Bill W. wrote the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, he used one of Emmett Fox's works, The Sermon on the Mount. So I'm quite fond of him. Okay. Now pause a moment to consider all that God is. Review briefly at this point the principal aspects and attributes of God as you know them, and then consider that this infinite being is our refuge. That is to say, this unlimited power of wisdom and love is a refuge to which we can go in any kind of difficulty. Many devout souls have thought of God as a distant, potent dwelling in the skies, to be dreaded and feared. But the Bible says, on the contrary, that God is a refuge for those in difficulty. It then says that this omnipotent power is nothing less than our strength. This brings the idea home still more vividly. God is not merely a matchless power that will come to our rescue, but he will actually be our own strength, operating through us to the overcoming of difficulty when we call upon him or her in the right way. So I just like that this morning. I can only focus on God being one thing, and that is infinite love. And I thought that reading kind of said that. Okay, so how is everybody feeling? Check in and let me know on Instagram. I'm just going to have a quick look. Yesterday, someone was saying yesterday they were tearful. That's okay. We're allowed to feel our feelings right now. Annie's saying sadness and grief over my daughter not having a normal 8th birthday on Wednesday and cancelling a family trip to Florida and feeling guilty. It's totally okay to feel that way. It's totally okay to feel. I felt like that. It was our wedding anniversary last week, and we were meant to be going away for 2 nights, and of course that didn't happen. I have a trip to Florida it was meant to happen at the end of April. That's not going to happen. I have a trip to England in June. That's not going to happen. It's okay. Don't. I know we're in this very difficult time and people are really suffering, but it's important that we don't push our feelings down and disown them and separate them because we feel guilty or ashamed of having them. So it's really important that we stay connected to how we really feel and let ourselves go through the grief process for whatever it's about. So Annie, my son had a 5th birthday a couple of weeks ago, and we were able to make it fun and special. And he said to me it was the best birthday he's ever had. It was his 5th birthday. So there's your daughter will take her lead from you. So it's up to you to make this special and different. And just remember, through history, so many times people, through the Second World War, people have had to make do with what they've got. It's not balloons, it's not presents, it's not fancy restaurants that matter with children. It's connection. It's connection that really matters. Jamie's saying that they tapped this morning before a very important business meeting via WebEx, and it worked. Yay! Okay, we're going to do one more round of tapping before we finish. I'll be here every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Please join me Monday to Friday. We will get through this 24 hours sober with our mental health intact. Just focus on what we have to do. Okay, so even though I'm frightened about the future and income, I can't make any plans and that feels hard. That's just how I feel right now. Even though I'm frightened about the future and income, I can't make any plans and that feels hard. That's just how I feel right now. Even though I'm frightened about the future and income, I can't make any plans and that feels hard. That's just how I feel right now. Frightened about the future, frightened about the future, frightened, income, frightened, income, frightened, income. Take a deep breath. Please also don't forget to wash your hands before you do any tapping. Use hand sanitizer. Please don't forget to do that. It's really important before we touch our faces. But you can do tapping anytime. Just tap and breathe. It will help calm your central nervous system. It will help release all of the anxiety and stress and fear that's building up. It's really important that we don't let this stuff build up inside of us. That's why we're taking care of our mental health in a 24-hour period. So just before I go, just to let you know, those of you who are interested in signing up for the work of sobriety, the 8-week program that I'm going to be doing with Laura McCowan. Enrollment for that closes tomorrow. Our first group is on Wednesday, and our first group is going to be about dealing with stress and anxiety and calming, so that the subsequent weeks we can begin to actually do the work of sobriety. I know we're almost full. I think there's a few places left, but if you're interested, that's right for you right now, please check that out. You can go to lauramccowan.com. You can go to soberful.com. In the banners at the top is the information where you can sign up. Please come and join me tomorrow and spread the word about the 9 a.m. club to anyone who you feel would be helped by it. And let me know your suggestions for readings and what you want to tap on. All right, everybody, take care.